Dear Buford Lady Wolves basketball, history won't exactly remember me well. I am not a superstar. I didn't play a ton of varsity minutes. The one thing I am most famous for is tripping and face-planting for no reason at halftime of a game. You can laugh, it was funny, but you need to know. Players like me are really the heart of Buford Lady Wolves basketball. From the moment we started running 60 press, continuous fast break, dribble drive, circling up at half court after a practice or game, we all know one thing is real. We are in love with you. A love so deep, we are willing to give you our all. Our minds, our bodies, our hearts. And somehow, in the process, a silly game unites a group of young women of every race, color, and creed. We become sisters. My personal journey to be a part of this family is different than most. My parents were born and raised in India. Once married, they moved to the United States, which was initially Minnesota, then to Missouri, and then to Ohio, which is where I was born. From Ohio, we moved to Florida, then to Colorado, where I fell in love with basketball. From Colorado, we moved to Alabama, and after middle school, we moved to Buford. Going into high school, I knew I wanted to play basketball. In order to do that, I had to introduce myself to Coach Durden. So, after a week of mustering up my courage, I finally did it. He asked me one question: "Do you love basketball?" I immediately answered, "Oh yeah, I played in middle school." He stopped me, emphasizing his question even more. "No, do you love basketball?" I replied, "Yes," with a confused look on my face. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. Once the first practice came around, I understood the reason behind his question. After 5 minutes into my first practice, I literally thought I was going to die. When Coach Durden says, "There is no walking in this gym," he means it. If you even try to go half speed, you might as well just put yourself on the baseline. But throughout the 4 years of spit, sprints, and sweat, there was always a teammate beside me or behind me, supporting me and encouraging me, even though I was the one that messed up. It is those moments that I will miss the most. Moments that made me truly understand that Lady Wolves basketball is so much more than the basketball itself. This championship season is a perfect example of what makes Buford Lady Wolves basketball so special. Sure, we had some very good players. Yes, we were the defending 5A state champions. But what I loved about this season, my senior year, was that we came to you in waves. When someone wasn't at their best, another player picked up the slack. We were really like wolves circling their prey.
The biggest difference between our program and other programs is, I would say, how hard we play, and because of how hard we practice. Our style of play is very intense, and we are all in all the time, and you can see that when we dive for loose balls or take charges or just go above and beyond to do the little things.
I think that the Buford style of play is so effective because of how hard we play and how intense we play, and it's hard for other teams to keep up with us on the court.
The biggest change coming from a different school to coming to Buford this year for my senior year is the speed that we play at and the mental toughness that you have to have in order to play in this program. We always hold each other accountable for everything, and there's no time for anybody to not be doing their job and not holding themselves to the standard in order to play at our level.
Of course, we had to learn some difficult lessons this season. Losing to Collins Hill, Lovejoy, and Norcross hurt. It still hurts. But Buford basketball has taught me that what hurts you can really help you if you use the pain correctly.
Losing to Collins Hill, Lovejoy, and Norcross taught me that on any given night, if we didn't show up against talented teams, then we would lose, and that every day in practice we had to go 100% and be.
Lovejoy was the hardest loss to stomach because, I mean, we just should have beat them. Like, I don't think they really could have competed with us if we would have played our game. I don't think anyone really came out that night and played their best game, so we just struggled as a team, but Lovejoy was definitely the hardest loss.
Collins Hill was probably the hardest loss to stomach because knowing that they're such a talented team, as many of them are going Division I, and we were so close to beating them, we just had to do the little things like make free throws and layups, and that we were that close to beating such a talented team, and we didn't.
It seems like every season of my 4 years at Buford, we have had a significant injury to a really good player. This year was no different. When Jessica was injured, someone had to step up. And one particular player proved that size matters very little.
When Jessica went down, I knew I had to be there for my teammates and step up.
When I got hurt in the preseason game, I didn't know that I was going to be out for the whole season, so I was just like, okay, I'll bounce back from this, it's fine, injuries happen. But when I found out that I was actually going to have season-ending surgery, it sucked. I worked so hard this preseason, and everything was finally starting to come together, and so just knowing that I wasn't going to get to play my senior year with some of my best friends, it was really tough.
Yes, there was times I doubted myself, but I knew I could do it because I went against Jessica during practice.
I just really tried to shape my mind to be okay, well, if I can't play, I have to help the ones who can play and just help them learn everything and be the best that they can be to help the team.
Winning the 5A Region 8 championship was an incredible accomplishment. But our team was determined to be more than just region champions, which meant that we would respect every opponent in the state tournament, but we would fear no one.
The game that probably concerned me the most is the semifinal game against Villa Rica, just because it was at a different gym. It was kind of far, and they had a ton of fans and stuff, and so I was kind of nervous of how we were going to handle that.
Well, that's the thing, you either win or go home, so you have to leave it all out on the court no matter what.
So it's just really nerve-wracking to think that in those 32 minutes it could be over and you got to go home.
As fate would have it, we would wind up playing our region rival Flowery Branch in the state championship game. We would take our backyard brawl south to the newly renovated Macon Coliseum. The result would be the same as the 3 other times we faced the Branch. But this time was the sweetest of them all.
When I found out that we were playing Flowery Branch again, I was honestly a little bit frustrated because we had already played them 3 times, but I was also confident because I knew that we could beat them. And it was interesting to play a school that was so close in proximity to us, and it was fun for our community to have that rivalry.
A lot of people say that it's hard to beat a team 4 times, but we beat Flowery Branch 7 times in the last 2 years, and you know your opponent so well that it's almost we already know the game plan, so we just have to show up and execute it.
Playing Flowery Branch again, it was fun. We've always kind of had a hype between them this year, but playing them in the game that mattered the most was really, really fun to me, especially our senior year, and then to close it out the way we did was just a lot of fun.
Before the game, I was nervous, but I realized that my team needed me. And just because the girl was bigger than me, it didn't matter because of the hard work that I put in every day at practice.
I liked guarding their best player because it just showed me that Coach Jordan had enough trust in me to do it, and then I also got to show her, because she's a commit to Alabama, and to show her that I was just a normal girl playing and she couldn't pass me and she couldn't get by me, so I showed her that she might need to do a little work.
I always knew that we could do it. I never really had a doubt, but there was a moment in the third quarter specifically where you could tell that the other players and coaches were getting really frustrated, and that was when it became real of, okay, now we've got them.
I remember walking into the locker room and like screaming. I was like, this is our game, like we got this, because we were only up by a few points. But I just felt the energy that it was going to be our game, and I knew that we had 16 minutes left to finish the deal.
The turning point was when we got 2 stops in a row on defense, and we scored back-to-back, and we started kind of getting in the flow, and then I knew we were going to be good.
We've always had a little thing with Flowery Branch, and to be able to settle that battle in that situation, I feel that it was the perfect ending, like the storybook ending to everything.
When some of the Flowery Branch players got a little bit chippy with me, and I got thrown to the ground a few times, and you know, I didn't get hurt or anything, but it made it sweeter to see just how much it meant to them and how we were getting what they wanted so badly. And
The lasting memory was just being able to celebrate with the team, with people that I've played with for a long time.
My lasting memory was probably hugging Jessica on the court, seeing her like so happy about that game. It just made me happy because she didn't even get to play all year, and then having her just like come up and hug me, it just made me really happy, and it's a special moment that I'll always remember.
I immediately went and hugged Tori because I was just so proud of her and so proud of this whole team for finally accomplishing like our goal that we had had all season, because they had worked so hard, and I knew they deserved it, and it was just really special.
When the annoying player from Flowery Branch went and pushed Mary, that really got under my skin, and I kind of had to have Casey and some of the other girls on the bench kind of calm me down, because you don't really touch my sister. And just winning 2 state championships with her is just really cool and fun to share the memories.
Coming onto the floor after the buzzer sounded and the game was over and we had won, it was definitely a feeling that I had never experienced before, especially this being my first state championship with these girls. It was great. I mean, I knew that we had worked so hard all season for that exact moment, and to know that I'd done it with these girls through everything, through the laughs, the tears, through all the preseason conditioning and everything that we had done, we had put all of our effort into that one moment to say that we won and we were the best in the state in 5A. And it was just a moment where we were all so happy, and I was just so glad to be there with them.
There is nothing like reaching a goal that you have worked so hard to attain. It blows my mind to think that I will leave Buford a 3-time state champion. But I must admit, being a senior and winning a state title is incredibly special.
It's tradition. We work hard and we set ourselves to a high standard just for the point of winning state championships. We don't go out to win tournaments.
being back-to-back state champions to me means that it's not just, the first time wasn't just a fluke, and that this program wasn't just blessed with some really good athletes for a couple of years. It shows just how dominant we've been for so long, and how what we do is right, and how our program can take regular athletes and mold them into champions.
18 state championships pretty special to me because I got to experience it with my cousin. I remember when we were little, we'd play outside on our basketball court and just practice with our grandpa, and all the hard work that we've done together has paid off. And
we put a lot of hard work in. Back-to-back state champions, it's not easy to do because once you win it once, there's a lot of high expectations that you have to follow the next year, and we never gave up and we always worked hard, so I'm really, really proud of the team.
It means a lot to me that we won 2 state championships in a row, just because the one we won last year, I really didn't play. I was just kind of a part of the team, but this year I actually got to play and show that we could do it without the 4 seniors who had a major role last year. So I just thought it showed that we could keep the legacy going after the seniors left.
So proud to be part of the Buford Lady Wolves legacy and tradition, because when I look at graduates from years past and all that they've accomplished and the women that they've become through hard work and through just learning life through this program, I hope that I can be like that one day, and I hope that I can come back and influence some of the younger girls that are going to be coming up here in the next few years. And I'm just so proud to say that I'm a Buford Lady Wolves graduate, and just so blessed to be a part of it.
Being a part of the Buford Lady Wolves legacy and tradition has truly been an honor, because I got to experience 3 years of high school with some great coaches that really knew the game of basketball and really cared for us as young women. And I think that it'll really help me grow in the future because of our 5 core values. It made me a stronger person. Coming here from a different school, it was completely different, and the coaches expected so much from me, and I had to step up and take responsibility for myself. So I'm gonna just remember all the lessons that it taught me and making me a better person.
Being a part of the Buford Lady Wolves program is definitely such a rewarding experience. I know that all of the coaches and all of these girls will have my back for the rest of my life. And they held me accountable all season to be the best person that I could be and to represent this program with class and dignity.
Buford Lady Wolves' legacy is all these great girls that came together to build something that's better than themselves, that will last longer than themselves.
I would like to thank both my parents for being at every game and driving to Walnut Grove or Fort Valley State or anywhere. They're always the first people that I look for in the stands.
I like to thank my family for being my support system throughout the whole season and coming to all my games and being my biggest fan and just showing me that they were proud of me regardless of the outcome of the game.
I would like to thank my parents and the whole rest of my family for always supporting me no matter what, through the hard times and the good times. And just for all the coaches and my teammates for investing in me and never giving up on me and pushing me to be the best basketball player and person that I can be.
I like to thank my coaches and my teammates just for, especially this year, supporting me, because it was rough, but I don't think I would have gotten through without them. And so I'm really appreciative to have such an amazing program that I can now call my family. And then I also want to thank my parents for just always being there for me and supporting me.
So, Buford Lady Wolves basketball. This season is all that 10 of us have left to give. As hard as it has been, don't be fooled. Our hearts don't want to leave, but time demands that we say goodbye. And that's okay. We are ready to let you go. I speak for my fellow seniors when I say, we have given each other all that we have, and we all know, no matter what we do next, there are no half-hearted champions. Consider others before yourself. Good enough isn't good enough. Responsible for me, accountable to we. Do the right thing, even when it's hard. And you are always a Buford Lady Wolf, once you are one. Introducing freshman, number 10, Ashaya Willis. Number 20, Blair Wallace. Number 14, Sarah Vitti. Number 30, Abby Perkins. Number 21, Ryan Nelson. Sophomores, number 2, Gabby Bage. Number 5, Caitlin Klein. Number 3, Tate Walters. Juniors, number 44, Ebony Grant. Number 0, Casey Jones. Number 32, Preston Reed. And seniors, number 33, Emily Fisher. Number 22, Jasmine King. Number 24, Sierra Saraki. Number 12, Ciasia C.J. Johnson. Number 21, Jessica Nelson. Number 4, Mary Walters. Number 23, Audrey Weiner. Number 11, Kaya Stiles. Number 1, Tori Osmond. And me, number 50, Nandini Fonseca. Ladies and gentlemen, my sisters, and your 2018 GHSA 5A basketball state champions, the Buford Lady Wolves. And now, the reward for all of our blood, sweat, and tears. The unveiling of the 2018 state championship ring on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
I got a really big team, they need some really big rings, they need some really nice things, better be coming with no strings, better be coming with no strings, we need some really nice things, we need some really big rings, I got a really big team, man, what a time.
You know, I was wondering, if you could keep on, because the force, it's got a lot of power, and it makes me feel like it makes me feel like that.
Just
Who did you expect? Michael Jackson?